First, we'll start this one.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the November 15 Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners meeting. This is a little bit unique that we're starting at 11 o'clock instead of our usual 9 o'clock. Earlier this morning, we met as the Board of County Canvassers certifying the election results, and we'll be going back there at 2 o'clock to finish up. So this is a little bit unusual. That way we don't go for extended time. My name is Kevin Cook, serve as the chair this year, also representing District 2. Joining me is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Aaron Mays, representing District 3. Good morning.
Morning.
Madam Clerk, our first item.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
There are 7 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions, or is there a motion?
I'll move to approve. Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers totaling $2,416,500.33. There's several items of note on here. Bear with me. Under building and maintenance and federal grant to Shirley Construction for $145,959.30. It's for the Felker Park Crossover tennis restrooms. Under District Court, State of Kansas, $21,960 is for the Office 365 license. Under detention facility timekeeping systems, $24,250 is for the annual renewal for the Guard One Plus system. Under equipment fund to TaylorMade Company for $14,289.75 is for the pour-in-place safety surface at Hillsdale Park and Horn Park. Under equipment fund to WT Group LLC, $12,758.34 is for ADA audits for parks facilities. Under infrastructure to Ham Incorporated for $290,286.14 is for the Southeast 45th and Barrington Road to East Edge Road project. And then under Public Works to Potter's Industries for $16,632 is for the glass beads for lane stripes. So I don't have any questions about any of this. If you don't, I would move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A3, consider approval of resolution number 2021-106, authorizing a 2022 cereal malt beverage license to Dillon's Store number 37, located at 6829 Southwest 29th Street, Topeka, Kansas. And this is, I think we're just getting started now with our renewals on our cereal malt beverage licenses. And there is just a little bit of a difference between this one and the other one. We have found out through a complaint made to us from an applicant that it is not necessary for the county to do health inspections. This one actually, the application was, the normal was reviewed by the counselor's office, and the KBI and the town does a background check, and then the townships are notified in case they have any questions. And we actually did have a health inspection conducted by the State Department of Health. But between that one and the next one that's up, we found that we have no regulatory resolution or anything that requires it. There's no statutory requirement, and we really couldn't find. It's kind of like we've always done it that way thing. So as a means of making it a smoother transit or situation, we have to do it in my office. Chris is the one who does them, prepares them. So you will notice that will be the one little change going forward, that we'll have everything else on there, but this will be the last health inspection that we'll actually do. So
Okay.
that's So that's all. Other than that, this is the Dillons
Has
over at
met all the legal
29th
requirements?
and Urish, pardon?
They've met all legal
Met all the
requirements?
legal requirements. Yes, they did.
I'll move to approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. And then our next item,
A4, consider approval of resolution number 2021-107, authorizing the 2022 cereal malt beverage license for Shawnee Energy LLC, doing business as Fuel Espresso, number 51, located at 3603 Northwest 46th Street, Topeka. And this one has also been reviewed by the Consular's Office, KBI review, and the township had been notified. So we're good to go on both of those.
is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Thank you, Commissioners. Item B, Health Department, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-383-2021, renewal of agreement, contract C-344-2018 and C-345-2018 with custom data processing for electronic health record software, October 25th, 2021 through October 24th, 2022, at a cost of $45,840 to be paid by program revenue and tax allocation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director with the Health Department. As the clerk read, we are requesting approval to enter into another one of our one-year agreements for renewals for our electronic health record through custom data processing. This is our actual 4th year of service with the company, and I would say we have gradually just gotten more and more comfortable with it. It was definitely a big change moving from all paper into electronic health record. And we also still work closely with Wyandotte County, Riley County, and Douglas County as those 3 implemented the same EMR at the same time. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'd move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Can I ask Teresa a
Yes,
question while
absolutely.
I've got her at the podium? I noticed on our, and you may not know the answer to this, the hospital scorecards that come out. Let me show you here. I'll let you have a copy. They changed something on there, and I couldn't understand.
Oh, let me finalize the vote, because I thought.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is
I'm
it not
sorry.
regarding this item?
Oh, no, it's
Okay, all
separate.
right. Let me finalize the vote then.
Absolutely.
Motion made by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Now, Commissioner Rippon, you had a question for.
I do have a question.
All right.
On the scorecard, up towards the top, I highlighted where it says percent of admissions unvaccinated past 30 days. They've changed that in the last couple of weeks. It used to be, it just said percentage of hospital patients unvaccinated. What does that mean in the last 30 days? Does that mean if you haven't been vaccinated, or is that a booster? Or?
My understanding is, and of course I am not a spokesperson for Stormont
Sure.
Vail, but my understanding is that they are looking over the past 30 days worth of data. So it is more a rolling average over the past 30 days versus a specific day and time.
Okay, so if you haven't had a vaccine or a booster in the last 30 days, then they consider you unvaccinated, basically.
They are looking at the past 30 days. So 30 days, all the patients that have been hospitalized from the past 30 days is what they're looking at.
And they're just talking about COVID-19 patients right there, right?
Correct.
It makes it hard for us to compare apples to apples when they're changing things like that. That's a huge difference to me.
Noted.
I think,
Not my data to report though.
I know, but all of a sudden, before we were down to like 63% of their patients with COVID-19, 63% were unvaccinated. Then all of a sudden it jumps up to 84, but they're just looking at the last 30 days.
Correct. Yeah, it's a statistical analysis that they're providing.
Well, it's gonna keep this percentage very high. That's what they're gonna do, because most people have been vaccinated, probably was well before 30 days. And So it's gonna make this number artificially high compared to what we had in the past.
And Commissioner, this might be a question best for Craig Barnes.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah,
As Mr.
But-
Barnes is the one
I-
who is working on that scorecard and putting that information up.
yes. And I can also follow up with our partners at Stormont Vale for
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to
information.
know, I'd like to know
Okay.
why.
I'll get that back for you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item C, Public Works. Number 1, consider approval of request to fill a vacant inventory specialist 1 position at a salary including benefits of no less than $42,395.86 with funding from the Public Works Equipment Maintenance Fund to fill any subsequent position or openings that may become vacant due to filling this position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Neous, Director of Public Works. The clerk, I couldn't add much to it. The position is needed because this person goes and gets parts, orders parts. Obviously, you have to have parts to maintain your equipment. So with that, I look forward to your questions.
Questions?
No.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0.
you.
As we get to our Parks and Rec items, Madam Clerk, there is a request to pull item D4, and this will be reviewed and maybe placed on a future agenda. But at the request of the chair, we're pulling item D4.
Okay, I can do that.
So we are ready for D1.
Okay, item D, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of request to cancel the order of a previously ordered 2021 Ford Transit vehicle per contract C-535-2020 with Enterprise.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brent Holsether, Fleet Services Supervisor with Parks and Rec. What's happened, Ford has closed that line. That type of vehicle is a cutaway. They just have the front part of the van, and they're not making those. They thought they would get back to them, and they're not. So the problem is that I've tried several different ways of getting something else to replace it so far, and haven't come up with one yet. We're still working on a couple different avenues, but I thought I should let you know where we're at with it, being, almost a year later.
Okay. So at this time, it's your request that we cancel the contract 535-2020 since Ford has notified us that they are unable to deliver the vehicle that we had
That's
ordered.
correct, yes.
Okay. Any questions regarding that?
Will we be reissuing another contract for a different type of vehicle then at some point?
I'm trying really hard to, yeah.
Okay.
All the manufacturers are fairly quickly closing, ordering for 2022.
Yeah.
So, Amazon and all the other delivery places are buying vans up left and right, so we may have to go with a different type of vehicle in order to meet our needs.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make a motion then to cancel contract C-535-2020. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it's passed 3-0. Our next item.
Item D2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-384-2021 with Enterprise Fleet Management to replace 17 currently leased vehicles and to add 8 vehicles to replace the Shawnee County vehicles at the end of their lifespan with an annual increase to the lease of approximately $51,000. A, consider approval to order the 5 Ford F-350 vehicles with increases to the lease due to the dump beds and Knapheide truck equipment prices increasing, raising the monthly lease rate from $693.98 to $710.97.
Brent Holsether with Fleet Services again. We came down last month, or actually a little bit longer ago, and ordered some 3/4 ton and 1 ton trucks. At that time, we weren't able to order the half-ton trucks yet, the F-150s. So, I let you know I'd come back when it was time for that. In the meantime, when we went to order the F-350s, the supplier for the beds, the price had gone up in the time between when we got it approved and went to order them, and so we need to adjust the price up for those. I wanted to let you know where we were at with the F-150s, the gains that we made. These are the trucks that we sold this year, trucks in one car. You can see if you look in the sales price column, or I should say, where am I at? Or I should say the gain-loss column, that shows how much money we were giving back in equity towards the new leases, which come to so far about $99,317. We do still have a couple trucks left to sell. Trucks have been kind of trickling in. I'm going to guess that the gains on those are going to be similar to the rest of the 2020 trucks on there, somewhere around $15,000 to $20,000. To give you an idea of what that means to our fleet, if we look at the total amount of money we spent on the vehicles, for rent of the vehicles, finance charges, and everything basically but fuel and repairs, we spent about $8,400 on these 8 vehicles, and we drove them a total of 194,000 miles. If we were to figure in fuel and everything else, repairs that we've done to those vehicles, it comes to about $30,000, which is about 16 cents per mile. The IRS allows about 58 cents a mile for vehicles use, so I think we're doing pretty well. We can't drive our old vehicles, our 20-year-old vehicles, as cheap as we can drive the brand new ones. This year, we applied these gains to the lease. Like I say, we still have a couple left to be turned in, and we also applied gains from Purple Wave for some old vehicles that we had. If we look at the 32 vehicles we have right now and what those are going to cost us, this month, as in what we're paying out right now, is $123,451. Our original lease agreement was for 26 vehicles, and we agreed to $130,430. So we're being able to expand, replace some of our older vehicles, and not increase the cost of the lease. A number of the vehicles we have are now on a 1-year lease. It saves us a good little bit of money in finance charges when we turn them in. And there's a few vehicles that are at the end of their 5-year lease we'd like to replace. There's one vehicle that is on a 5-year lease that we'd like to trade in to try and make some gains like we've done before. That's the F-150 at the bottom there. And then there's a number of vehicles that we would like to add to the lease. We added some money, or requested money to be added to the budget for next year. So with that, we'd like to replace these vehicles here. That's kind of where we're at, and that's what we're requesting with this contract.
Okay, so let's walk through this contract. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Sure.
So, on the memo that was received, it says that we have vehicles at the end of their lease.
Yes,
And those, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 vehicles are being replaced with 2020 Ford F-150s. So we're replacing 2021 Ford F-150s with 2022 Ford F-150s, correct?
yes.
Okay.
There's
Then-
actually a 16, I think.
Well, first you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you
I
have
see. Okay,
a
yes.
Camry, a 2018 Camry, and a 2018 Camry that you're replacing with a 2022 Ford F-150 SSV.
That is a police model. Those are the park police cars.
Okay. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 2017 Toyota Prius Vs, replacing those with a 2022 Ford Transit Connect.
That's correct.
Okay. Then you're also, in addition to that, you're ordering a Ford F-150, or replace, I guess, using the vehicle included in this request to utilize early order strategy is a 2020 Ford F-150, replacing it with a 2022 Ford F-150.
That's correct.
Okay. And then finally, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles that we are, at the end of their useful life, that we're going to trade in for newer vehicles.
That's correct.
Okay. And this is all on one open-ended lease contract with Enterprise.
Well, back in 2017, we signed a master lease agreement that outlines all the terms, and then each one of these is kind of a separate contract like underneath that.
Okay. So these are all separate leases under the master contract.
Right.
Okay. And so we're not amending the master contract, we're just adding leases to the master contract.
That's the way I understand it.
Okay. I just want to make sure that it's clear for audit finance, for the department, as well as for our clerk, who's keeping track of all these vehicles.
I would like to say that audit finance has been extremely helpful with all of this and steered me in the right direction more than once.
Okay? All right. Any questions?
Yes. Do we have guarantees that we're going to get these vehicles before we dispose of the other ones?
Well, I'm not going to dispose of them until we get the new ones. I would say no, there's absolutely no guarantee we're going to get all of them. I wish I could be more positive about that, but that's part of the reason why we're ordering so early. I mean, there's some of these trucks we just got like a month ago, and I'm ordering its replacement. So the other thing is that even the ones that are on a one-year lease, if the vehicle doesn't come in within that period when that lease is up, we can continue to lease that vehicle for the same price as long as we would like to.
Other questions?
Maybe a Jim question. This contract allows us to add, subtract, and, all right, okay.
This is Jim Crow, Shawnee County Councilor. For the record, yes, that's my understanding of how the original master worked.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so, I mean, I look at this and I think, like, we have a 1986 Ford F-350 getting replaced with a 2022 F-150. That makes total sense to me. But I sort of still kind of question, are we being too aggressive with some of these if you're looking to replace a vehicle a month after we get it? I mean,
Well, so, like on the 2020 the 2020 vehicles that we replaced. Some of them only had 3,000 or 4,000 miles on them. Those are the ones that we had a $17,000 gain on. Those are the ones that actually, they paid us money to have that truck for a year.
It's wild
So
to
like
think
25, they paid us $2,500 to have the vehicle.
They just get that much off a resale that they can do that?
Yeah, in a lot of cases, well, in several of these, we got if you look at the sticker price for what our lease was based on versus what the sticker price, or what we received for the truck, was $3,000 or $4,000 more, because nobody can get a new truck.
Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. Also, another piece of that is that we are buying at the government rate, so we get a discount on the purchase price of those vehicles too, which also works into this sale gain price or amount.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, Betty, while you're up there, so I know Brent does this for Parks and Rec, and
He also
and I
does
think
it-
these are the health department, the Prius, are they with AIT maybe?
He's also doing it countywide for all the other departments
Well, that's
also.
what I was just gonna ask, you know, are we seeing the same type of thing from Public Works or?
There are certain vehicles, these F-150s, for instance, we do real well on. If you look at the Toyota Prius that we sold, there was a gain of about $3,100 on that, but that we'd had that vehicle for several years. It was not a $17,000 or a $15,000 gain. Those vehicles, that's why I've kept the rest of those 2017 Priuses as long as I have, is because they're fairly efficient, but the resale value on the trucks is just really good right now, so.
Okay.
Yeah, and just Brent is working with all of the departments. He's working with Enterprise that looks at our whole fleet with them. So he's not looking at only Parks and Rec. He's
Okay.
looking at all of the others too.
Okay, I think that answers all my questions for now.
It is very odd still to, I mean, with the concept of Enterprise paying us for the use of their vehicles, but, all right,
I'm gonna look at my old pickup in a new light.
there you are.
Valuable things.
Is there any other questions about the contract? I'll make a motion then to approve.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Reflect that it passes 3-0. Our next item.
Well, excuse me, I just want to make sure, we also had discussed the F-350s.
Yep,
And is that included?
that was included with the increase in the lease price, noticing that the lease monthly rate is moving from
I just wanted to
$693,
make sure it didn't be
$98
separate.
to $7.
$15.
You want that to be a separate motion?
No, I mean, you approved what their request
Yes.
was, and that was all
Okay.
inclusive, so we're good.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you. Our next item.
Okay, item D3, consider authorization and execution of contract C385-2021, addendum number one to contract C289-2021 with Enterprise Fleet Management in reference to insurance requirements.
Morning, Brent Hossetler, Fleet Services Supervisor. Enterprise normally requires a higher insurance requirement for vehicles over a certain gross vehicle weight. It's my understanding that being a municipality, self-insured, and according to Kansas law, we don't need to have that insurance in place. And this is just, this addendum is to recognize that, and so that we're not required to carry things that we don't need to.
Jim, can you speak to that?
Yes, this is a provision to Jim Krause, Shawnee County Councilor. This is actually an addendum to our benefit that we've negotiated with Enterprise that acknowledges, since we are a municipality and our tort liability is capped at $500,000, that we do not need to purchase additional insurance over and above that. And in fact, if we did, then that would increase our liability in the same amount as the coverage that we would purchase. So we certainly don't recommend that, and we do recommend that we execute this addendum. It is for our benefit.
Any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon,
Second.
second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item D4 has been pulled. Item D5, consider approval of request to fill a vacant park maintenance technician arborist position at a salary including benefits of $49,416.28, and to fill any subsequent position that becomes open as a result of filling this position.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. As the clerk said, this is a position in our forestry division. It's an integral part of that division, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
None.
Go ahead.
I'd move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item D6, consider authorization and execution of the following agreements for the Old Prairie Town Christmas at Ward Mead Park to be held on December 18th. A, resolution number 2021-108, temporarily exempting Old Prairie Town in historic Ward Mead Park from restrictions on selling, serving, possessing, or consuming alcoholic liquor and/or cereal malt beverages. B, contract C387-2021 with B&R Grill 4 LLC to sell and serve alcoholic beverages. Item C, contract C388-2021 with 915 South Kansas Fun Center LLC to sell and serve alcoholic beverages.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. These are the necessary contracts needed to be able to serve alcohol at this event. This event is the Old Prairie Town Christmas. Second year for the event. It was very successful last year. I believe the same two vendors we had last year serving. It's a great event for the entire family. There's Christmas stories will be told by local celebrities, as well as letters from Santa. It Takes a Village will be performing in the church. It's just a fun day of events. Be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioner Mays, didn't you read stories last year?
I did.
Did they ask you back?
I don't recall. I'll have to go back and read through my emails. I can't remember. It was fun, though. We had a good time. I took the kids, and yeah, we were there for, I don't know, about an hour or so. It was lots of fun.
Any questions regarding the event?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'd move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Item E, Commission number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2021-109, allocating 2022 social service funds and service programs for the elderly funds.
Commissioners, as part of our 2022 budget process, we set the amount for the social service agencies and for service program for the elderly. Those then go back to the Community Resource Center, CRC, for them to work with those two bodies to come back with recommendations. And so, Ms. Thomas, I'll turn it back over to you regarding the work the CRC and those agencies have done.
Thanks, Commissioner, and good morning. The rest of the Commissioners, Mary Thomas with Community Resources Council. And thanks to Audit and Finance for advising me we were on today. Whew, I almost missed you guys. There are no changes before you from what I presented during our budget hearing in July. The committees, one for each of the respective funding sources, and CRC really appreciates your support in listening to what the committee put to you and respected funding and approved it with no changes. I know that you might have got a call or two. Hopefully you had enough information to be able to visit with constituents on questions. And I also answered a few calls. As a result of the budget line items that came forward, I did letters, preliminary letters to each executive director for each entity that had requested funding to let them know where they stood at this point, understanding that this would be the final point when this came forward for commission for final approval. They then had the opportunity to visit with you or me, and I, again, took a few calls. Again, you may have taken a few calls, but I think everybody was, from what I understand, most people are quite satisfied with the results. Not everyone got the funding they wanted, and a couple didn't get funding at all, but on a flat, almost deficit budget, I think everyone understood where we were as a result of the pandemic.
Questions? I'll move a motion to approve. Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, reflect that it passes 3-0. Mary, before you go, can you talk to the commission just for a moment about the work that you're doing in Oakland and some of the new projects that CRC's taken on?
Oh, well, thank you. Yes. We were pleased to be approached again by 501 in our continuing partnership. They had a building that had been vacated by their additional employees, teachers and instructors who are not assigned to an additional school were at Lundgren. It also had closed to student participation in spring of 2012, just as Avondale East had. But they repurposed that building for all of their, what I call traveling professionals, their nurses, their therapists, their music teachers, art teachers, and so on. While they would plug into different schools every day, they needed a home base, and that's what Lundgren was to them in the Oakland neighborhood. As the schools grew in size and then also in student body, they found that each one of those schools now needed to have permanent music teachers, PE teachers, and so on. So they started dispersing that staff out into the community, into the district schools on a permanent basis, hence an empty building. They felt that what we were doing at Avondale East was making an impact at Highcrest West community, and I believe it is. It's a two-generation. It's to make that long-term change in the fourth generation of poverty that we're seeing in the last 40 years in our community. So they asked us to do the same thing that we're doing there, but in mind with that culture of what the Oakland neighborhood is, and to bring new services there, with supported by charitable not-for-profit organizations that are renting space within that building. Over 30,000 square feet, holy moly, in the middle of a pandemic. But I thought, why not? You know, if you don't try, you're never gonna know. A couple of sleepless nights, and you know, we all just grabbed hands and jumped in. And it's working out quite well. We have 7 tenants already that have taken up residency. All of them are pretty much in children programming in some fashion, so that's fabulous. And then CRC is working with Community Action in its continuing partnership to create a pre-K or 0 to 3 programming there. We've got those 2 large kindergarten rooms that are just begging for kids to be in there with some programming, daycare, but a little beyond daycare. And who better than Community Action to partner with because of their long-standing Head Start presence that they have, and for many years in the community. So we have maybe only about 4 rooms left, so come see me if you need some space, and a beautiful 7,000 square foot gym. So if somebody needs to do a basketball tournament, volleyball tournament, want to get out and kind of stretch your legs over the winter, come see me. We want that building busy and teeming with things going on. We have, for the first that I know of, a Comic-Con that will be free to those attending the first Saturday in December, that's put on by Topeka Youth Project, one of their big ending fundraisers this year. It's new for us, but it's got a lot of talk in the community, so I'm excited to see how this works out.
Well, I think it's good to have that gym close proximity to Oakland Community Center and being able to team up with some activities.
The Oakland Gardeners turned over 700 square feet of new dirt this spring to start their first garden. The bounty of vegetables was just gorgeous. And every Sunday, once things started to ripen, they were at one of the local stores within the community after church for people to just stop by and pick up what they needed. It truly, initially, from the beginning, is feeding the community for free, and the community is coming to learn how to do their own at home when they're ready.
Okay.
It's a nice partnership.
Great.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
letting me have a plug in there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to speak to the commission on any item.
Kearney Youngs, Director of Public Works. As of last Friday around noon, our South Topeka Boulevard project, removal of the old railroad crossing is complete, and I will be coming to the commission here soon with a final change order on project cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Rippon?
Well, I attended I guess it was kind of a celebration out at Old Prairie Town for having the best event in Topeka. It was for Garden Glow, and it was also kind of an appreciation event for the volunteers that work out there, and they do put a lot of effort into setting up those lights and designing the light features and stringing miles of cords, and then of course putting on the event, and they just do a fabulous job, and it's a very good fundraiser. So hats off to them.
Absolutely. Commissioner Mays?
Well, it was a very active weekend around town, and so I had a chance to go to the Washburn Senior Day football game. A lot of people there, but then if you had a chance to drive by the Stormont-Vail Event Center, you saw they had one of the biggest events they've ever had there. So looking forward to Kellen giving us a report on that maybe in a week or two.
Sounds great. Yes, it was very well attended, a lot of activity over the weekend. I might also note just the work of Plug and Play, having their expo, business expo here in the community. The work that group is doing, it was really exciting, and so look forward to the work that will come from that. As a reminder, we will be reconvening as the Board of County Canvassers this afternoon at 2 o'clock to finalize the certification of the November 2021 elections. Have anything additional? Our next item.
Item 6, Executive Session.
There's not a need for an executive session. We are adjourned.
You have several resolutions